And welcome back guys to another video. Today, just like the thumbnail and titled, it's gonna be about non-critical builds. um Again, this video is specifically for non-critical builds, okay? And what I'm gonna just go explain what you guys need, what you guys want to look for stats. You want to look for in the skill. You want to look for in the runes and the relics, masteries, Zodiac, everything. Okay, let's break it down how non-critical works. All right. So right off the bat, some things that you want to look for in this game. There are builds that you can do, and you do not need to invest a lot of resource, time, and energy. You can just go off right the bat and play a non-critical build. And the non-critical build is really essentials, um, and you need certain items. Some items, like a unique items, that makes you cannot crit, and some zodiacs nodes that makes you cannot crit. So you want to take those things to boost a lot of more damage. So let's get right into what you need specifically in terms of stats, in terms of rune links, and in terms of skill. Okay, so we're gonna go look into the gears first. Okay, so with the gears, there are certain items and stats you want to look for. So specifically, you want to look for stuff that has really high attack, um, and spell uh, flat damage, like this weapon here I'm showing you guys. The first line is attack damage. Any skill that has a attack tags, you want attack damage. Okay, and then you want the percentage. The percentage is the multiplier. Okay, you want both of them if you are playing non-crit on all your weapons. Okay, and then speed is the weapon increase your skill, attack speed, or cast speed. So speed is a general term. Speed will be in the weapon itself, and not affecting this, and it will affect the skill of how fast you attack or how fast you cast a spell. Okay, everything else is fine, just not critical or gear crit in the name or the terms. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's what you want when you craft your weapons. And then another thing that you want to keep in mind is weapons can have damage amplifier, uh, like um, like physical. If you are doing physical build, if you're doing elemental, then you want the elemental uh, damage amplifier, and then also maximize damage. Okay, you need to craft all that in there into your weapon. So let's go over again what you would need. You would need the attack flat. Okay, you would need the attack flat. Another weapon I can show you is this, like this one specifically right here. This one right there, right? So you would want the attack flat, and then you would want the percentage, and then you will want the speed, and then you will want to craft maximize damage, and then you want to hit the critical damage as well. So that critical damage you can then high trace it for physical damage amp or elemental damage amp of that tier. So again, um, that's the weapon. That's what you want to craft, and also the same thing. You want to craft it uh, in your gear as well. If you want to use just uniques, there are two rings uniques that you want and the necklace that you want uh, to play this non-critical build, and I'm gonna list it right here too. So again, you want to keep those stats in mind when you play this build. You don't want crit rate. You don't want critical damage. You want a lot of double maximized damage chance and then triple maximize damage chance on top of that as well. Okay, so that's done with the stats. And then other things you want to keep in mind is there's different type of damage amplification. There's projectile, there's physical, there's tier 1, which is physical damage amp, and then elemental damage amp. The second one would be projectile damage amp, um, strike strike amp, and then what I mean by amp is amplification, right? So let's say, and then melee amp, and then you have general damage amp as well. So let's take a look at this item here. This item has damage flat, okay, melee damage flat. So any skill with melee tags, you will get the 41% damage melee damage increase, okay. So then you also have here the general damage amp, which is the same as this necklace. When it says damage amplification, is general, meaning both physical and elemental can use this damage amp. Okay, and then you also have the chance to double maximize on hit. It's the equivalent of critical rate for non-critical build. Okay, and then here you have the um, um, bring up banner certainty. So the two things you want to look for is probably insight. Just give damage, maximize damage, chance, attack speed, or cast speed. And then this one is the main item that can use for both critical and non-critical. With non-critical, you want to awaken, or you want the seal of persistence, so that you can always gain the 3% deals triple maximus every 3 times you hit. The legendary tier 34, I mean the unique tier 34 is much stronger, but this is the lower tier, and you can play with this right now off the bat. Okay, so that's what you want to look for. You want to look for the double maximize damage chance, which is here, and then you want to have the triple maximize damage chance. At the same time, you want maximize damage as well, percentage. Okay, that's a multiplier. And then on top of that, you want to be specific on what your skill is looking for. So if it's a skill, say that you need dot increase, or you need uh something that um, you want to look for, like in some say it's projectile damage amp and stuff like that. All right, so now we're gonna get into the skill. The skill, you want persisting strike, and then you want seal of persistent. All right, this two will increase the chance of you doing double damage and triple damage. Uh, and then persisting strike will increase the damage of when it's used. You increase the double damage for your skill. Okay, um, then you get a 6% chance when this is active to do triple damage as well. All right, and then the zero strike damage amplification. This will be for any skill with strike tags that will get this damage amp. Okay, that's why it's really important to look into skills that have tags and use the correct tags uh, or its elements. And then the main one, really quickly, is your rune. The strongest rune right now for non-critical would be persistence. You are gaining a ton of damage from this right off the bat. You can get this at level Act 2, Act 3, right in the beginning, level 30, level 20, level 10, level 1. You can just buy right off the shop. So this can be really strong for any skill that has strike tags. You can use this in there. Um, the origin is the stronger one. You get the 3% to proc triple maximize damage. So have it linked to your skill. You always get that 3%. Um, and then again, you want to go off of what your skill is telling you. Is your skill a melee attack? Is your skill a spell or attack? Is your skill a physical or elemental projectile? Stuff like that. You can play around with those. Okay. Make sure tags are really important. tags are really important. That's what you want to focus on, right? You have elemental damage amp, but it reduces physical damage. Okay, so there's a lot of runes you can play with that, um, and then that's pretty much the breakdown of the skill. Make sure the skills are connected with the tags, so that way they get the damage amp. All right, and then masteries pretty straightforward um, for non-critical. You want as much damage, weapon damage, damage amplification as you can, and then all the potions on your other ones, on your alchemy. And then relics comes in play. Depends on your skill. If it's physical, you would go caster, and you will get the physical damage amp here. If you are a spell, you will go scepter. Scepter, you will get the damage amplification here, elemental damage amplification here. And then if you, and then again, it's based on your skill and your damage and all the stuff that you want to do. Um, and lastly, your Zodiac. If you are a using a attack skill, you would take all of this right here. Make sure to avoid anything with critical. You want to take anything with attack speed. Let's say I have a attack skill, then I would just go apply there, and then the next one I will go apply here. Right? This is the only physical side, and I want to play physical, right? And this is the only physical one. But if you are playing elemental, non-critical, then you would take any of these elements to get the 3% damage amp of your element. Okay, much better. You can do that. Okay, and then we can go from here. If your skill is melee, then you can take this right here. If it has elemental, you can take here. If you have physical, you can take up top. Um, if you are projectile, then you would go here, and then here, and then here. All right. So let's say I have a melee skill, but I don't. It doesn't have a melee tag, but it has a physical tag, a melee tag, right? So let's go melee tag right there. All right, and then now if your skill has area effect, you want area damage. So this area damage, and then area damage amplification of area effect. So if a skill has area attack, you want to take those as well. Increase the damage as well. Okay. If your skill has elemental, you want the elemental damage amp. So focus on those stuff. Okay. If it has physical, and you want physical damage amp. So it's physical, area physical, right? And then your specialization. Specializations can play different ways. If it has area damage, area effect tags, go hammer. Um, if it's a spell, then you will go brilliance. If it has doesn't have either of those and it has straight projectile only, then I would take the let's say this one, Aurora. 6% chance to do maximize damage on hit, right? This is big. You can then take. It is if it's an attack skill, then you would take this. Okay. Any damage amps you can get right there, and then lastly, this one you want the if it's attack skill, then you would take the super speed. All right. And then over here is really important, but this is going to be the most difficult. Zodiac nodes is because that you gain 30% damage amp, but your resources more, so you have to pay close attention to what you do, so that you can maintain your mana. Okay, so that's there. You can also use the bottom side um, to get more maximized damage, um, which is also good right here as well. Okay, right here, this is pretty good too, right? And then there's that, and then you go over here, and you want to take the sweep for strike damage. If you want to take annihilation for area damage, etc. Okay, and then over here, I would take strong wind for the strike damage amp. I don't want a critical. Um, and then you take this right here for 8% strike damage amp, crit able disabled, and then if it has elemental, then you take some over there, but you don't have to. You can just move on. Again, if it's projectile, you take this. Right? If it's area, you take this right there. And then this here, if your stats are 500 or 200, again, you don't want any of the crits. You want all the on hit, all the chance of doubled. You don't want any critical rate. You want any of like elemental or physical here, right? And then lastly, you want to focus on any strike damage amp is pretty good. Any attack speed is good. You don't want critical, just keep that in mind. Area, any damage that you can take right here. More HP, more attack right here. Again, you want to play around with that, okay? There's only some specialized tree that actually gives lots of so if the skill is physical, then you go here and then power there for more hit, and then you can do lightning here, on hit effect. Okay, you don't want the critical side, so avoid critical as much as you can. um, and then I can do fire here, there, and then I can do um, physical here, armor pen there, right? So again, there's only a few specializations that doesn't have um, non-critical hit, non-critical amp. Um, I know that Dawn is the only one that has the increased critical strike damage of right here of 8%. So that's 16 right there. And I think Hammer. Yeah, Hammer doesn't even have one. So yeah, Hammer doesn't have one. Those are minions, shadows. Yeah, shadows don't even have any. Shadows more of damage amp. Uh, and weapon range, and yeah. So pretty much your only option would be Dawn for any attack skill, um, due to the fact that you getting a lot more damage with strike amp right here and crit disabled. So it's the best. It's the best one. If you know, if you play spell, excuse me, then I would just take dimensions, and then I will go to the area effect damage, maybe realization for barrier, but it's no use to go into that node there. Pretty much Dawn is the best option for non-critical, to play to play to play non-critical attack skill, playing non-critical spell skill is it's good too. It's just that you're gonna waste a lot of points. You don't you mean you don't waste a lot of points, but let's go see spell. See where we land at. Because that 8% strike damage amp is really strong for just 3 points. So let's say if we were to switch to spell, I would take this, I would take this, and I would take this. Okay. Don't take this. You can take this. If you have a belt or a necklace that has convert mana Zodiac, you can take this. And then the second page, you would then take this is a must. This right there, and then lastly, you can take this right here, and then take lightning damage there, and that, or we can take this into this, right? And more cast speed, if you like, right there, if you like. This 10% will be cancelled with this one. So you use yeah, dampening, cost amplify. Those cancels out. Okay. Or if your skill has a element and a spell with projectile, then you will take this. That let you apply a projectile. You will take this. And has area attacks like fireball. Okay, you would take that. But if you're having mana problems, I would just drop that to projectile and get this. And get projectile from multi-shot or parallel multi-shot. Alright, so that's the video. I think I covered all the charms, right? Lastly, charms. Charms, if you're using two-hand weapons, you want damage percent, two-hand weapon damage, and then you want the HP, or you want all out damage, then you will take damage percent, and then you want to take maximize damage. Okay, and then you want two-hand damage on there or one-hand damage on there. Okay. So like two-hand damage, maximize damage is good too. Regular damage percent with percent two-hand weapon equipped is good too. And then HP is also good too. You want HP percent. So the kind of the three stats you want would be damage and then two-hand weapon damage, and then you want HP percent or maximized percent damage, which is right here. Maximize damage. All right. So damage, maximize damage, two-hand damage, or damage, maximize damage. Um, um, chance to do double damage. You can get those two. Okay, and the legendary effect you want is the chance to deal triple maximize or strike. So you need strike on legendary, and then you want maximization chance right here, right? You want the maximization chance on legendary, and then strike damage amp on legendary. All right, so that's how you would build. How I would go towards a non-critical build. You kind of need this three things: persistent strike, persistence, and then you have seal persistence, and then seal is persistent strike. Persistent strike is a buff, and then this is a seal, and then this is a persistent strike. You can, if you don't want to use this, I would suggest you use seal strike. Seal Strike can do a lot of damage. So I can turn this to a buff, turn this to a seal. This will be always stronger than this right here, so you can play around with it. All right, so you don't need this. You can just turn this to source, and when you awaken the source, it become a buff. Okay, same like seal condense. All right, so either one, um, right? This three is really good right there. Okay, together, this is really good. This right here is really good. Um, yeah, so you guys just want to play around with it and see what you guys want to do. Just keep in mind, do not get any crit rate. Do not get any crit damage. If you're crafting items, crit damage can turn to physical amp or elemental amp. So you can keep that on your gear if you're crafting, but you need to turn it on the crafting table with traces. Crafting table with traces right here. You want to put the item in, and then you want to spin that. Also, reflect damage has oh, sorry, uh, sorry. You don't want that. You want this right here. So critical damage can turn to elemental damage or physical damage. So you want those right there. Okay. All right. Uh, give it a try. Let me know what you guys think. Any questions, please leave in the comments. I hope this helps a lot of people, and we can go from there. Okay. Other than that, that's pretty much everything about non-crit. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Any questions, leave in the comments. Answer them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and see you guys on the next video.